That's the plan. That's it. Just wet sand the whole thing. No big deal. No big deal. In the shop today is this beautiful 1954 Chevrolet Bel Air in this beautiful candy red metallic paint. Absolutely gorgeous. This was repainted and refinished about a year ago, and we get a lot of these repaints or custom paint jobs in the shop from time to time. And some of them are good, some of them are not so good. This particular paint job is a very good paint job. There's no runs, there's no uneven, weird texture to it. But it wasn't finished down properly. You can still see wet sanding marks, some dullness, and it's just not shining to its full potential. So it's in the shop today. We're gonna make this baby shine like a diamond. Oh gosh. Is there an instruction manual for this? Yes, please. I think I just opened it. Wrong key. Oh, yes. All right, we're gonna come in and take a closer look at this paint and I'll show you guys what issues that we have going on. Under the lights, you can already see that we have some swirl marks in the hood, just some dull spots, dull areas, and there's a lot of little tiny spots, just like here, where you see it's just, I don't know if it's overspray or if it's wet sanding marks that just, they weren't fully polished out, but whatever it is, this thing is just not shining to what it should be, so that's what we're gonna make it. So let's take a closer look at some of the issues that we have going on here. The paint you can see here on the bottom, you can see all these wet sanding marks. Probably wet sanded with a DA wet sanding polisher. And you can kind of see here too, this top here, it looks like it was polished out okay. And then you get to this line right here, there's almost a line right here. You can see like, well, they just stopped. You know, they're like, well, they're not gonna see past there. We'll just go past that belt line and we're not gonna worry about fully polishing that out. See that dull area there? It's hard to look past all that flake, but once you look past that, you can see the chalkiness, all the swirl marks. This looks like wrapping paper, doesn't it? We already talked to the customer. He was wondering about this scratch, and he's like, will that scratch come out? From what it looks like to me, it's not a scratch. It's actually the paint that is cracked, and then it's the clear coat's over it, because you can feel it. It doesn't feel like a normal scratch my fingernail will catch there. So what I think that is I think that's a crack in the paint, and the clear coat over it is fine. But we'll polish it out. Even if that was a scratch, I think that's too big to get out. Most of this car, you can see there's a ton of paint on this car. It's huge. But most of the car will be able to polish with a normal 5 or 6 inch polisher, but you got a lot of these little tiny areas over here that are gonna take some time. We'll either do those by hand or use a nano polisher on that. On the hood, there are some deeper scratches on the hood. We actually talked to the customer about this car when he dropped it off, and one thing that he did tell us was the engine at one point did overheat and the paint up here was actually bubbling, so they did not repaint it after that. It doesn't look too, I mean, the texture is a little different than the rest of the car. After we measured the paint on the side and the fenders, we did notice that the paint was thinner on the hood here, so we're gonna just work with extreme caution on the hood because of that paint bubbling from the engine overheating. But I don't see any like serious damage up. I mean, it still looks pretty good. I mean, there's some deeper scratches up here, and up here, you know, you saw earlier all these swirls. There's a big deep scratch right in the middle of the hood there. All right, let's get to work. This car is obviously not that dirty, so we're gonna do an O&R wash, which is a rinseless wash, and we can do it right here in the bay. We're not gonna use any pressure washer or anything to rinse the car. We use O&R, which is a very nice lubricant to just clean the dust off the car. And feeling the car too, I feel some roughness to it, so we're going to have to clay it. I have a new clay bar that I'm gonna try out. Looking to put that on Car Supplies Warehouse. So let's get started. All right, for the O&R wash, we got a 5-gallon bucket here. I have a couple mitts inside the bucket, and you're gonna add 1 ounce to every 2 gallons as a mixture. So I just use this cap usually. Oh, we'll call that enough. Hey, Oscar, do you have somebody that I could steal to help me on this, or no? Are you guys pretty busy? No? So I'm gonna do it by myself? Okay, I guess I'm on my own. This is nice. I like that this clay bar comes in 4 pieces already. Looks like Laffy Taffy.
Warning, the following stunts were performed by professionals. Do not try this at home.
It's not Laffy Taffy. I'm gonna wash a little bit and kind of clay at the same time here.
In the description of this video, I will put a list of products that we love using here in the shop. And if you guys want to watch more how-to detailing videos, please go check out our newest YouTube channel, Car Supplies Warehouse.
All right, we're gonna start our test spot. You never really know exactly how much compounding a car is gonna need until you actually get a buffer on it and go through it. So I think there's gonna be some spots that we actually have to re-wet sand. There are some areas where there's some weird texture, but let's get into it. Wow. Super, super, super hard paint. Like, I'm just using the wool pad to take out light swirls. Like, there's still the deeper scratches in it. It's a lot of work. I think I'm going to have to do some wet sanding now. So I just got done doing some testing with some wet sanding in a couple different areas. I used 2000 grit on the hood, and then I did 3000 grit up here on the roof. And because of these scratches, or because the paint is so hard, it's being really difficult to finish out nice. So I'm gonna lightly sand. So I'm gonna sand some of these heavier spots that you see, and there's some texture. There's weird things going all the way around the car with some texture, and some sanding spots, some deep scratches. So I'm gonna hit them with 2000 grit. I'm gonna spot sand with 2000, and then I'm gonna quickly, I'm wet sanding the whole car. Quickly, I'm gonna hit the whole car with 3000. I'm gonna try it a couple different ways. I'm gonna try it on the machine, and then I'm gonna try it by hand. I feel like it would be a little quicker by hand doing it, but we're gonna find out here. So that's the plan. That's it. Just wet sand the whole thing. No big deal. No big deal. So this is the section where it overheated. You can see the paint. It's like it's cracked a bit. You know, you can definitely see it's cracked from underneath. Clear coat's still intact, but I don't want to be the one to mess it up. So I'm just gonna put a piece of tape in that general area because we're gonna wet sand most of this car out, and I'm gonna stay away from that area.
No, stay away.
KXK, baby.
If you guys are gonna do any wet sanding to a vehicle, the KXK sanding blocks are a must. These blocks are custom built and high quality and come in a bunch of different sizes.
I'm using 3000 grit. This is a Unigrit Meguiar's disc. This is actually made for a DA polisher. And I am gonna try it on a DA polisher. There's an interface that goes with it that makes it really soft. I'll try that real quick on the hood. But in the other sections, the heavy sections where there's a lot of texture and a lot of other marks and wet sanding marks still left over, I'm gonna use the 2000 grit and then go to the 3000. And then we'll finish it out with our wool pad and then we'll polish it. We're 4-stepping it. So it's gotta be done.
Initially, when I looked at this car, I did not think I would be wet sanding a majority of this paint work, but it looks like I'm in it for the long haul on this one. I love hearing from you guys in the comments, so please let me know below, what's the longest time you have ever spent on one single project?
See you tomorrow. More polishing. Switching it up to the mille. Mille means more power in Italian. Look it up. Chris is not helping me today because he's got better things to do. You're not helping me today. Maybe said I couldn't. It's unreal how hard this paint is. Unreal. So that is overspray. I'm gonna try to get that out by hand. So that's kind of like the little stuff that we're doing that makes a huge difference in the overall appearance of it when you're looking at a car like this. What's going on, man? How you doing? Slow. Check this out. So I don't know if you remember this, but this overspray was like probably up to here.
Yeah.
So this is probably the hardest paint I've ever worked on, meaning not difficulty hard, but just like it's hard. It's really, the scratches aren't coming out of it. We're doing multiple steps to get, you know, minor swirls out. Yeah, that's why we wet sanded most of the car here. So I'm working on this. I polished this out yesterday. Working on the hood now. We're gonna work into the fender onto the side, but it's gonna look beautiful, man.
It looks great already.
It's gonna look like a different car. All right, yep, no problem. All right, coming on in. Take a look at the difference that we got here. I got a little bit in the corner I still got to do here. But really, it's things like this that take a car like this from a 9 to a 10.
This custom car has a lot of tiny areas that are hard to get to with a buffer, but luckily O'Burke and KXK teamed up and made a microfiber sheet so you can now literally cut custom pads to fit these super small areas.
All right, she's looking good. The sides here and this rear quarter panel are correcting a lot faster than the hood and the top and the fender were, so I'm happy about that. But I think we're gonna call it a day because staring at this glitter for 6 hours in a row, starting to see stars. All right, we're about 20-25 hours into the job, compounding. I'd say we probably got 90% of the defects, the scratches, all the texture, wet sanding marks, everything out of the car. It's looking fantastic. We probably got an hour or so. We're gonna go around the car and kind of make sure that we have everything, mark some spots off that we have to do a little more compounding on, but we're so close to the polishing stage. We probably got about an hour to polish it. This particular car has such hard paint where most of the work is going to be compounding, getting the bigger defects out, and the polishing is actually going to go really quick because you can look at the paint right now and it almost looks like we don't even have to polish it. There's no micro hazing or marring that's going on with the compounding session here because it is such a hard paint. But we're fighting this hard paint, we're fighting the heat, we're almost there. Once we get this polished, we can bring it in the clean room where it's nice and air conditioned. All right, Chris, what are we gonna polish this with?
We're gonna be using a yellow Repaint pad and probably hyper polish.
Sounds good to me. It looks pretty beautiful as it is, doesn't it? Look at that. That's how hard this paint was. We're using a wool pad and compound, and we got no hazing. Crazy.
Magic.
You ready?
I'm ready to be done.
All right, Chris, we just need to take off the tape, clean all the cracks and crevices, Chrome looks great, wheels look great, Georgia M's windows. I want to hand polish this front piece here real quick. I'll do that. I figured out what this paint looks like. It's the ruby red slippers of Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. All right, it's time to coat the car. We're gonna be coating with G-Technic EXO. This car is not gonna be seeing elements like the rain or salt or anything like that on the road, so we're just going for maximum shine here. So we're putting 2 coats of G-Technic EXO. You wanna be the applier or the wiper? Okay, I'll apply it. I apply, you wipe. Round number 2.
All wrapped up and everything. Wow, holy cow, man. Holy cow. Wow, dude, that is impressive. It looks so deep and wet, you know? Holy cow. You don't know how bad this part was bothering me.
I know, yeah. That was a bunch of, overspray and everything there. So, I got all that by hand and everything.
Wow. Dude, you guys did an amazing job. It's amazing, man. So deep, it's got a lot more depth to it, you know? I love the way the hood looks now from all angles. I mean,
yeah.
Well, it looks amazing, man. You guys did a phenomenal job. Wanted to see how it looks, just in motion, you know? Man, that's sick. Man, let's go. Love that.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Please go ahead and check out some of our other videos.